Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily FX market review for the trading day ending Wednesday, October 7th. Firstly to the Euro US dollar, and here we see a continuation of this trend to the upside. This current candle has made a higher high and a higher low, but on a black body candle. So as opposed to the white body of the previous day's trading, we've seen the sellers build some net momentum to the downside as opposed to the buyers for the previous day. As we saw for the past 4 consecutive trading days, the market finding resistance within the Ichimoku cloud and specifically at the Kijun-sen indicator trading at 112.73. That will continue to be important resistance for this market. But by the same token, the market found support at the Tenkan-sen trading at 112.25 at the moment, and that's going to be the benchmark for any potential downside here today. If we see a bearish breakout down below that Tenkan-sen, we could easily see the Euro US dollar testing down to the 111.60 level of previous support. And if we look here in the recent past, this 111.60 has been tested on multiple occasions, and we see the shadows representing the strong upside price rejection from here. So very strong support at 111.60. A bearish breakout down below there could see this market develop further to the downside. By the same token, a bullish breakout up above Kijun-sen would be an important event, and we could then see the market test to the top of the Ichimoku cloud, trading at the moment around the 113.17 region. To the hourly charts with the Euro US dollar, and here we saw rather weak trading throughout the day following the open. The market failing to rally in a significant manner through the Tenkan-sen indicator. We did see one bullish candle up above there, but then the next candle we didn't see any follow through. We saw strong selling coming into the market with a solid breach down below the Tenkan-sen, and that set the tone for the next few hours with selling to find support at the top of the Ichimoku cloud. The top of the cloud and the Kijun-sen held a support in the middle of the day, the market attempting to bounce off, then selling off once again to find support down around the bottom of the cloud, and very weak indecisive trading for the remainder of the day, finding support continually at the Ichimoku cloud, resistance around the Kijun-sen. At the moment we see a continuation of this weak trading, very small bodied candles, finding support around the top of the cloud and within the cloud. If we are going to see the market trade higher, we will need to see a breach through the middle pivot point level at 112.43, also through the Kijun-sen at 112.47, and if we breach up through there in a bullish manner, we could easily see Euro US dollar trading the first pivot point of resistance level at 112.75, possibly to the second around 113.16. By the same token, if we see a strong bearish breakout down below the bottom of the cloud, and bearing in mind that it's a flat part of the cloud and we can have forced breakouts, so what we'd like to see is a bearish breakout and then strong bearish follow through. But if we see that, we could easily see a test down to the first pivot point support level at 112.02, and then possibly down to the second at 111.70. Moving next to the US dollar Japanese yen, and here we see this continuation of this weak trading, another small bodied candle, an indecisive spinning top type candle, finding support once again around the 119.85 level and below the Kijun-sen and the Tenkan-sen. We will see this market break out eventually, and when we see that, it's going to be a good move. The market is congesting here. There's very little volatility in the market. We're setting up for a move here, whether it's to the upside or the downside. It depends on how the market interacts with these levels. Resistance is up to the Ichimoku cloud at 128.87, and beyond there at 121.14. That's the benchmark to the upside, and to the downside the benchmarks here are 119.20 and 118.90, and a breach down through that level in a bearish manner could see the market trading significantly lower. That would be in line with the market continuing to trade down below the Ichimoku cloud, being a negative market in that longer term time frame. And just looking at the bands here, and here we see the squeeze going on. The bands are squeezed up, the tightest that we've seen for quite some time, representing low volatility, the market congesting. Very important trading activity coming up at the moment. We have seen for today's candle the bottom band hold a support, as we have seen on multiple occasions, the upper band holding as resistance on multiple occasions. If we see a strong bearish breakout and then strong bearish follow through, we could see strong downside development of the trend. The problem here is going to be the support that extends down to the levels that have already been mentioned, and we will need to see bearish activity down below there clearing through that strong support, and if it's to the upside, bullish activity clearing through that resistance. To the hourly charts with the US dollar, Japanese yen, and for the majority of the trading day the market was trading within the Ichimoku cloud, highlighting the lack of clear direction. Previously we saw the market trading up above the Ichimoku cloud, so we had some bullishness, and at the moment in this new session we are trading down below the cloud. Late in the session it has finished, we tested down below there. We found support around the second pivot point support level, and a very interesting market attempting to rally, finding resistance at the Kijun-sen, and now the market had tested to the Tenkan-sen, and we are just testing down below there in a bearish manner. If we break out and we see some strong bearish follow through, we could see the market testing to the first pivot point support level, 119.70, potentially to the second at 119.39, in line with the bearish overall bias in that longer term time frame. We're trading down below the Ichimoku cloud. Moving next to cable, and that's the British pound US dollar, and here we see good upside momentum, some strong follow through today, and this looks quite interesting with the market making a higher high and a higher low off the back of the upside momentum and the bullish breakout up above the Tenkan-sen indicator from the previous day. The market testing above the previous 150-168 resistance area, and today however we've seen the market rally but find resistance at 153.28, an immediate past support level, and an area where we saw previous strong support coming in, so we could see some strong resistance around this area. Now we see the large shadow on the top of this candle representing the loss of commitment by the buyers, but the loss of commitment has not been strong, and with the formation of a fairly large white body candle, it represents that the buyers have built some solid upside momentum, and by closing up very close to the high they've also closed with strong control, and it suggests that there's a good possibility of them breaching through this 153.28 level. Now if they do breach through there, looking to the Kijun-sen at 153.81 to hold as resistance. Importantly, that Kijun-sen is pointing flat. Very often with Ichimoku charts, when we see these indicators go flat, we tend to see price action attracted back towards it, and that represents that previous downtrend, in this case with the Kijun-sen pointing down, that the market is no longer making those lower lows, and that we have either a congestion going on or a retracement, and the market in this case is retracing back towards that mean as represented by the Kijun-sen at 153.81. Looking to the bands here with cable, and here we see the market retracing back towards that middle band, which is something that we see quite often. We saw it back here after that strong bearish activity below the lower band. There is an opportunity here for this area to hold as resistance, 153.04, and it has done so today. Any selling could see the market test back down to the lower band, 150, 159. As we saw previously though, the market rallied, and that is a possibility as well, so watching the high for a potential continuation of the trend to the upside, and if we do see a rally, looking to the upper band at 154.48 to hold as resistance. Now to the hourly charts, and here we see very strong bullish activity here in this market on the hourly charts. It does show how strong that upside momentum was on that daily candle, with the market almost testing through to the third pivot point resistance level. As I mentioned, very often when we see these extreme days, we don't tend to see the as strong follow through as the previous day, but not reaching up to the third level here, and with that third level being below the previous couple of third pivot point resistance levels, it's not as great an extreme day as some others we've seen previously. Importantly, with this hourly chart, we've seen the Tenkan-sen holding a strong support, and we see that when we have these very strong markets, and the Tenkan-sen is the area where we see that the stronger support on these extreme type days. Importantly, at the moment, in this new trading session, the market has opened around the Tenkan-sen and is now trading just below there. A test is going to be whether we rally up to the Tenkan-sen and whether we can break out to the upside through there. If we do breach to the upside through there, we could easily test to the first pivot point resistance level, 153.63, perhaps to the second, 154.11. I doubt we will get to the third, 154.60, but if we do test to the Tenkan-sen and we see resistance coming in, we could see something of a retracement of this very strong uptrend, looking to support around the middle pivot point level, 152.90, then to the Kijun-sen, and if those areas are breached, certainly to the first pivot point support level at 152.42. Moving next to the Aussie dollar, US dollar, and here we see a continuation of the trend to the upside today, candle making a higher high and a higher low, but this candle is testing to that previous important resistance area and previous support area at 72.16. In the recent past, we saw the market testing up above their strong price rejection and then selling off to test down back to that 70-cent level. We have seen a loss of commitment from the buyers on this current candle, testing above there, failing to close above there, with the price action being rejected from the 72.16 region. Importantly, the market is now closing within the Ichimoku cloud, so that strong negativity in that longer term time frame is no longer in the market, and suggesting that we could eventually transition into an uptrending phase. First thing would be breaching through and closing above 72.16, and then eventually we could see the breakout, but we can't preempt the market, we react to it. And at the moment, our immediate objective here, if we're a buyer, is 72.16. The inability to breach through there for today's price activity does cause some concern for the buyers, however. Now, if we do see selling coming into the market, looking to the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud at 71.90 to potentially hold a support, and if we breach through there in a bearish manner, looking to the area around the Kijun-sen and Tenkan-sen, 70.87 and 70.84 to hold a support, as well as the 70.72 previous support and resistance area. Next to the hourly charts with the Aussie dollar, US dollar, and here we see the strength in the market here as shown by the bullish activity up above the Tenkan-sen. This really does highlight quite a strong day, as we saw for the previous day's trading, that Tenkan-sen holding as support. The market testing through the first pivot point resistance level, not quite reaching the second, and looking a little overextended here as we tested to the highs for the day, as we're looking at the depth of price action past the Ichimoku cloud, and just looking a little overextended, and following that the market then did attempt to come off because it was looking just a little overdone. At the moment, we're trading up above the Ichimoku cloud, so a continuation of a bullish market in the longer term time frame, but not looking overextended now. And as we trade through the day, the cloud actually moves up to meet price action, so that overextension is not looking great, and it does afford the buyers an opportunity to come into the market and extend it further to the upside. At the moment, some crucial trading activity around the middle pivot point level around 71.95, and also the Kijun-sen indicator 71.91. Finding support around this area. If these areas are breached in a bearish manner, we could easily test down to the the first pivot point support level, 71.56, and then down through there we have potential support at the top of the Ichimoku cloud at the moment around 71.38, but it does move higher. Importantly, for the first or the next couple of hours, the second pivot point support level is around the bottom of the cloud, strengthening the amount of support around there. But I suggest the opportunity is here for the buyers if they're strong enough. Indications would be a strong bullish breakout above the Tenkan-sen 72.06 and strong bullish follow through could see the market test to the first pivot point resistance level 72.43, even possibility of a test up to the second at 72.80.